Let's see. Hey, how are you? This is Miki Sturgis. How's everybody? Happy Sunday. Those who don't know me, my name is Miki Sturgis. I'm a life wellness and certified neuro coach who's passionate about helping women who've gone through, relationship trauma like uh, domestic abuse, betrayal, and divorce, things that debilitate you, to go from just surviving to thriving in life. Today I'm super excited. I don't usually do live on Sundays, but it just so happened I have to be flexible. And Jennifer actually is one of my friends, just newly acquired friends, who's doing amazing work. She is a homeschooling mom of two boys, ages 6 and 8, adorable. She has lived in Western Colorado since 1993 and started the Rehab Center in 2018. And that helps people, not just women, but people go from, poverty to thriving in life as well. So without further ado, this is Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. Jennifer Wilcox.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good, Miki. How are you today?
Good. Thank you so much for taking this time on Sundays. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for being flexible with your schedule. My schedule next week is already full, so I apologize. Normally I don't do Sundays, but it's what it is since we're home.
Exactly. That's good. We can be flexible.
Exactly.
And also, you're doing this also, right, on Facebook. I was a guest of yours last week, so I was very appreciative of that.
Yes, this is a good way for us all to get out there and know about each other's missions and what we're doing in the world.
Yeah.
So right now we have to use what's in front of us, and that's these Facebook Lives and our Instagram stories. So let's take the time and reach out to our community this way.
Yes, for sure. Okay, well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, as you said, I'm a mama of two boys. I have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. I've been homeschooling him now for almost 2 years. So I see it's kind of funny that all these other moms instantly became homeschool moms. And so I feel for them during this journey. It is some adjustment. Like I said, I moved here in Colorado in 1993. I moved here because I was very young at that time, and I was married, and I am also a survivor of domestic violence. And so that journey brought me to Colorado with him, and shortly after we moved here, we were separated and then divorced. So I was married and divorced before I was 21 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So during my journey, I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. At 21, you don't know what you want to do. I worked a lot of odd jobs and stuff, and currently, fast forward way ahead, and I am now married with my husband here. And let's see, gosh, it's been so long, I can't even remember how long it's been.
Wow.
That's terrible.
I know, usually husband's the one who don't remember.
I know it's the wife in this case.
Yeah, me too.
It happens, it's life.
Yeah.
And so when I went from working to be a mom, which is something that I've always had a desire to be as a mom, I found myself going from a very active lifestyle to just being at home all the time. And I went through a cycle of depression. And I started reaching out to God and asking him, what am I supposed to be doing? I know being the mom is the greatest thing in the world, and our job as moms is to lead our children to Christ. And I knew that, but I knew there was also something else. I was feeling a desire in my heart. So I prayed to God and was like, just show me what I'm supposed to do. Show me where I'm supposed to be. Where am I supposed to be serving? Well, he brought the vision to me of the center. And at first I was one of those, and I said, no, Lord, it's not me. That's not, no. And so
we talked about that, and yes. I said the same thing. So
exactly. Yeah. So I talked to some people about it, which is a big mistake. Let me tell you, if God puts something on your heart, you do not go share it with people. And of course, they were very negative about the whole thing. And I said, okay, well, I'm not supposed to do it. I'm just going to push it aside. Well, then God showed it to me again. And I was like, okay, but maybe. Well, this went on for 2 years. And let me tell you, when God gives you something, don't ignore him. He's going to keep coming back.
Oh, totally. Yes.
So I decided after seeing the vision, I went and talked to a local pastor here that I knew, and I told him my vision, and he said, okay, great, let's get started. And I said, okay. And so he said, my church is yours. I'm opening my doors to you. I want you to run it here. So I said, well, okay, I need to get started on the 501c3. And I thought, okay, great. I've got some time. I've got at least 6 months. Well, God had other things in plan because he turned everything around in 3 weeks and had me approved, which I was not ready for. So that was in April of 2018. We were officially approved as a nonprofit. August of 2018 is when we took on our first client. And so the mission of the center, just so everyone knows, it is called Rahab Center, just like as in the Bible. And the reason why I named it Rahab is because those of you that know the story of Rahab, she stepped out and took a great step of faith. And what she did by helping those spies that came into her city, that was a huge leap of faith on her part. She could have lost her life. She could have lost her family, but she stepped out in faith, and God took her in as one of his own. And that story just touched me so much. So after looking at that story, that's where the name came from, Rahab. Okay, so just a little background on that. So the mission of the center is helping women live free of government assistance by working on their key relationships with spirit, self, family, and others. And the reason why those are important, those 4 key relationships, if you do not have those relationships strong, you are going to fall back in the same cycle that you continuously do.
Amen.
And then you're going to just be back where you started. Mm-hmm. So we see a lot of moms come into us, a lot of single moms, and they come to us, they've come out of domestic violence situations. They have either never been married and just, been with their boyfriend, and that situation didn't work out. He ended up in jail, and now they have all these kids and they don't know what to do. We see women come from alcohol and drug abuse that come to us. So there's a wide range of them. Mm-hmm. When a woman comes to us in our program, and the name of our program, just so you know, is called the Heart of Rahab program. And that is important because by the time they're done with this program, they have that heart of Rahab. They know that they can do anything, and with God, all things are possible.
Yes.
So they know that they can do anything. Each woman that comes to us, we have a brief application that they fill out. Once they process that, then we actually do a live interview with them. We go sit down face to face with them and we talk to them and see where we can best serve them. Mm-hmm. Now, what we do with them, besides the individual assessments, we also do some academic assessments with them. We do career assessments with them. We do a lot of personal development. That is one of our major key components, is personal development. We also do goal setting with them. We do banking and budgeting classes, and everything that we teach at the center is all based on God's word. That is very important to me. Now, the question has been asked, so I'm going to go ahead and ask it and answer it. Do you have to believe in God to come to the center? Absolutely not. But you, by the end of it, you're going to see the joy and the happiness in our volunteers and myself. You're going to see the love of God through all of us, and you're going to want to know what that is and how to get it for yourself. Yes. So that's why we do it. Now, our vision of the center is, just so you know, and this vision is so important to me, it is showing women through the love of Christ that change is possible. And that is our main vision. Now, we are different than many other nonprofits. We do not seek or apply for any kind of government funding. We depend solely on donations to come into our facility. And that is important to us for a couple of reasons. One is, once we start applying for those grants, they come in and tell me what I can and cannot do. Yeah. I do not like that. If I want to pray with somebody, I'm going to pray with somebody.
Exactly.
If I want to look up a Bible verse, I'm going to look up a Bible verse. So we really do depend on the generous support of our donors. We have so many ways that people can give. It's not just cash. I mean, we ask for people to pray for us all the time in this ministry and help those women that are trying to make that decision to step forward and come to us and let us hold their hand and walk them through this journey. We have simple things. If you're shopping on Amazon, if you shop on smiles.amazon, that you can shop and select the Rahab Center, and part of that comes to us. So you don't have to physically send us money. Let's see, what else can I tell you about it? We're going on 2 years almost. I cannot believe
that's awesome.
2 years. It's just huge. I'm so excited to see where God is leading us on this on this new path with all of us being in our homes now, but I'm not giving up and I'm following him on this journey.
Yeah. When God opens a door, I mean, he is right there with you. And, sometimes we had a similar story. I didn't listen to God. Well, I listened to him, but I just said, no, I don't want to, or it's not me. And he kept coming, it kept coming with the message, from somebody or anything. So I know that we talked about that when we
Yes.
met, and even us meeting, I think it was God led. It was, my one of our friends, mutual friends, it
Mm-hmm.
connected us, and I thought, wow, this is not some random coincidence. It's a God led, and then I'm so I admire you for doing what you're doing. Listen to your God, you listen to God and just
Mm-hmm.
follow through it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
may I go back to what you said you had the experience with, domestic abuse
Mm-hmm.
early in your 20s, because Rise Up Women is actually movement, is that the one I created. It's not a non-profit organization, but I had that in mind from God's leading as well. But we serve women with a domestic abuse background
Mm-hmm.
or betrayal or divorce. Those things are debilitating, and
Mm-hmm.
many of them are, like you were saying, those people who had the background of domestic abuse growing up, or drug and alcohol issues and things like that. But with your case, would you tell a little bit about how it got started and how you got out briefly?
Sure. Well, I just so you know, I did not have a normal household that I grew up in.
Mm,
It was a very abusive home that I grew up in.
mm,
So the first man that I came across that actually showed me love, or what I thought was love, I was ready to leave. So I jumped out and jumped, as they say, you jump out of the frying pan into the fire. I did that. I lived that.
mm. Okay.
Um, the abuse started before we got married. It started with the verbal abuse, and I was one of those that thought I can change him. Oh, this isn't going to
Oh
last.
yeah.
He's just stressed out. He was military, so
Mm,
I just thought, well, he's stressed out because of his job. Not a big deal. I can work through this. Then the physical started. The day that I was to marry the man, which is a day I will never forget, I did not want to put on my wedding dress and walk down that aisle. And I went and told my mom that I did not want to do that. And she said, "You are not doing this to me now. You're not embarrassing me in front of all these people. You get yourself in that dress and get down that aisle." So I had
mm,
no one that I could feel like I could turn to.
mm.
So shortly after we got married, we moved to Colorado, and I just fell into a deep depression because I didn't know what to do. I wanted to go back home, even though that was an abusive situation. I didn't know where to go. I didn't have anyone.
Mm.
I lost a significant amount of weight whenever I was married to him because I would not eat, and because of the abuse, I actually was down to 93 pounds.
Oh wow.
It was pretty bad. Um, I still have scars on my back where he's pushed me into the wall and I had nails go into my back. I had a gun put to my head. I've been choked several times. Now, the first time, which I can laugh about now, I couldn't laugh about them, but the first time he ever hit me, and he hit me so hard he knocked me to the ground, I jumped up with my fist balled ready to fight because that was the Southern gal coming out in me,
Hmm.
which women I do not recommend.
Yeah.
Um, so, it was a multiple abuses that he did to me. And not only that, he was out sleeping around with other women. He got involved with drugs, which just broke my heart. And we separated shortly after we moved to Colorado. And it took me 2 years to get divorced from him because he refused to be served and refused to sign those papers. So
Mm.
now that I'm 45 years old, I've been through a lot. I've learned a lot. I grew up very poor, so I know what it's like to walk in these women's shoes that are coming to you or to coming to me for
Yeah.
help. So
Hmm.
I've been there. I can walk this journey with them. I also know what the journey is like to go down the road of drinking. I never did drugs, but I did an excessive amount of drinking after I was separated from him because I didn't know anything else and I was trying to mask the pain. And
Mm.
that went on for so long that I would drink to the point where I would wake up and not know where I was. I had no
Wow.
idea where I was or how I even got there. Um, so that went on for probably 5 years where I drank like that. Um, And, I can tell you, it's just not a life. It is not a life. And I always knew in my heart there was something else out there. I knew about God as a child just because my mother sent us to vacation Bible school because it was a vacation for her, not
Yeah.
because we needed to learn. So I knew about God, but I didn't understand God. I didn't understand his love. I was one of those as a child that was told when I didn't do something and I would get hurt, how a child would do something and then they stub a toe or whatever. Um, my mom would say, well, see, that's God just punishing you.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
I always thought God was this punisher. I never knew his true love. And I truly believe in my heart that these women that are in these domestic violence situations, they don't know his true love. And if they can just see his worth, they will know their worth. And
Yes.
they will know how much they're loved.
Right. So what got you, like, what prompted you to get out of the situation?
Well, he actually lost his job while we were together here. He lost his job. I had known some people in Denver and contacted them. They found him a job over there. He went over there. When I went over to visit, I found out he was having an affair with a girl. And I thought, okay, I need to move over there and to stop this. I didn't want to lose my husband. I was like you. I took my marriage vows very seriously. And I was like, no, I cannot do this. And one of the ladies, we were living in a 15-foot camp trailer. He quit his job over there. I was supporting him and supporting me by cleaning the KOA bathrooms to put food on our table because he would not even work to feed us. And so one of the women that owned the KOA said, honey, when are you going to stop this vicious cycle? When are you going to get out? And when are you going to leave? And so I did leave, but unfortunately I had nowhere to go. I didn't have one nickel. And so I ended up, my parents had moved here shortly after I did, and I moved back in with them. So I moved back into an abusive relationship again. And it took me a long time to get out, just get out. Like I said, it was about 5 years. And then something had to change. And I knew it had to change because the road I was going down was not a good road. And by the grace of God, I'm still here today.
So those times that you were drinking, that was when you were living with your parents then? Oh,
Yes.
I see.
Yeah, because I was masking the pain. I was in so much pain. I was in pain from what he had done to me. And then he kept coming back and pulling me in. We talked about that. And I would think, okay, well, maybe it's going to work this time, and it just wouldn't work, And then at the same time, I was living back at home, and that just wasn't a good situation either. And so, yeah, I had to turn it around. I mean, at the time I put myself through school and I became a nursing assistant. And even then I would still go out and drink on a Friday night and not get home until 4 a.m. and be back at work at 6 a.m. I mean, that was my life. That was my life. And then I would get off of work at 3, I would go pass out and start the cycle all over again. And so it was just, like I said, it's by the grace of God that I'm even still alive and here today.
Yeah, sometimes I think about that. I developed a aversion to alcohol. Because I think my dad was a drinker, and he would throw up and in front of us, and I just hated that. And my mom would just get so mad at him. And I never seen an abuse from my father, but I know he was a drinker. And I drank, but I didn't drink to a point where I pass out. I did that, long time ago, and then I hated it. So I didn't have that experience of being that, alcohol, but I totally understand the depression part, and I understand just the pain that you feel hopeless.
Yes.
But I felt like the same thing. It's like, by the grace of God, we are here. And, we went through some time of healing. Therefore, now he's telling us it's time for you to move to help other people.
Yes.
And that's what I felt, that's what I felt when I started. And I'm sure you did too, that you are completely now in a good place where you can right there help.
Right. I just heard a sermon this morning and the pastor said, don't waste your pain. And as I was thinking back on my life, I was like, wow, All that pain that I went through, all that suffering, look where
Yes.
it's brought now, to where
Yeah.
I'm able to serve other people, where you're able to serve other people. And we know so many other women that are out there serving other women. And it's just amazing to see how God can take your pain and
Yes.
turn it into something beautiful.
Yeah. You know, that is so true. God can actually move the mountains, not us. You know, I
Exactly.
couldn't understand that portion of the scripture one time. I was like, what does it mean to, I can't physically go and move the mountains. But finally it sunk in. It's like, oh, that's
Mm-hmm.
what it means. I cannot, you know, one person cannot move the mountains, but
Yeah.
God, with God, everything is possible.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that's exactly what I heard. It, like in my, I don't know, it's not audible, but you know how
You
God
know, yeah.
speaks, right? And that's what I heard. Miki, you know, I'm sure Jennifer, your pain, you went through all this pain, not in vain. You know, this is something that you make it a beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I heard too. And I was scared. I was like, no, God, please don't ask me to do this. This is,
Mm-hmm.
you know, my ex-husband's still alive and he's the father
Mm-hmm.
of my, you know, son. And I was like, oh no, I don't know. You know? So it took me over 2 years.
Yes.
No.
Well, I recently found out a couple of years ago that my ex actually still lives here in Colorado. He actually lives 2 counties away from me.
Mm,
He is remarried now with children. I understand that he had a terrible, terrible motorcycle accident and had to learn how to walk and
mm,
speak all over again. And when I heard that, my heart just broke for him.
mhm,
And I just said, God, please let this be a time of healing for him. I
mhm.
hope he's not the same man. I hope he's a better man, you know, because I don't have any more hate for
Yeah,
him. I just don't. And when people ask you how, and it's how because of
that's
God.
the healing. Yeah, that's the healing God gives. And, you know, when you are able to pray for him
Mm-hmm.
and pray for your so-called enemies, I
Mm-hmm.
think that's the strength God gives.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes, God
yeah,
is amazing.
yeah.
He
It
is.
is amazing.
He is.
So, what is your future outlook? What are you doing right now to create a future for you and also for your ministry?
Well, right now, as you know, we're like everybody else. We're on this lockdown. Today's day 40, the
Yeah,
big 40,
I
you know.
know. Can you believe that? Yeah,
No. Um, when they said that today, I went, wow, that went by fast. Only
yeah, it did.
because I don't sit at home. Does that make sense? With 2 boys, we're outside hiking or doing something all the time. So for me, it was no big deal. For
Mm,
others, I know it was, but for me, it wasn't a big deal.
yeah.
Um, but for our ministry right now, we are just basically we're taking everything digital right now.
Yes.
We're I would ask people if you are on Facebook, not only follow, you, Miki, but please follow us on Facebook at
Yes,
the
for
Rehab
sure.
Center.
Hmm.
We are we're taking the word to the community, and we're doing that by. Last week we took on domestic violence on our page and we talked about it. I had you and 2 other ladies come on and
Hmm.
talk about it. This coming week, I have actually a pastor's wife coming on Wednesday to speak. I also have 2 foster care moms who are foster adoptive moms who are coming
Wow.
on to talk about that process and actually how the future of Rehab Center, we are going to expand with moms that are looking to reunify with their children. Because during that process of reunification, they need support. They
Yeah.
need someone to give them the steps to where they just don't get their children back and they spiral out because they don't know what to do.
Hmm.
So I have been asked at the Rehab Center if I would be willing to look at that option. And I said, absolutely 100%, because my heart is for those children. And
Yeah.
when I found out that in the US, there are 4 million children in foster care, my heart just sank. And if we can just help one mom who's reunified with her children stay there with her children, I've done my job.
Yeah.
I've done my job. So that is the one step we're doing. We are continuously fundraising, and all funds we are raising right now are going towards marketing. And they're also going towards the future expansion. I'm so excited about our future expansion. God has shown me that there will be a building in this ministry. And
Awesome.
in that building will be a place for women to live and it will be like a community type center home. And they will also be taught everything that we teach at the center, along with learning how to pay rent, to where when they graduate from that program, they are able to go out and get a place of their own. So I've seen the vision God has given me, and I'm super excited about it. I can't even wait. I'm like, is it here yet, God? I'm like a kid at Christmas.
Yeah.
Are the funds here yet today?
That is so exciting. And I'm so excited. I'm so happy that I met you, because
Yes.
I would love, we talked about a little bit about partnering with my women's ministry, the
Yes.
Her Journey program. So I'm really super excited about that too.
Yes, it's amazing the work as God has done just before this time of the COVID-19 crisis to the time now. I met you just before this crisis.
I know, right?
At our last fundraiser we had, and that was a total God thing that we met right before that. And then during this time, God has brought in so many strong Christian women into my path that have stepped up and said, how can we help you during this time? How can we partner together to help our ministries grow? And I'll tell you, if this crisis wouldn't have happened, this probably would not be happening, where we're reaching out to each other and expanding. And so really, I am just so thankful to God that this has happened, and that we can all use this time as a time of expansion. Because let me tell you, if you're not using this time for some sort of expansion, you're wasting it.
Yeah, you're right. And, it's amazing, this technology, it's just, I mean, you can reach millions of people, and we're just touching just a little bit of, tip of iceberg, you call it. So I am really excited about, not just us, but having a lot of people doing the same.
Yes.
That is a power.
It is a power. There's power in numbers. Even when you're praying for something, what does God say? When two or more gather.
Prayer, he's in the midst of it. Yeah. So I think it's I think that's the meaning of God can move the mountains. It's just like, it's so beautiful.
It is.
To do a lot of things. So you have Rahab Center on Facebook and Instagram, and where can people find you?
And so what they can do is, you can find me on Facebook under Rahab Center. Same thing with Instagram. We also have a website, which is just rahabcenter.com. And then if you want to talk to me directly, you can call the center line, which is 970-639-0879. Okay. And so as of right now, like I said, we're doing this digitally, because can't be in the same space with each other. I don't know how this hugging thing's going to work whenever we have to be 6 feet apart.
Yeah, but right.
So yes, so that's where they can find me, and you can definitely go to the website, and you can read more about our program. You can read about our different funding options. And one thing I'm super excited about is that I've just added an option to our website in the last month, where people can do fundraising for us without me having to be even involved. It's amazing, the technology that is out there. And so that I'm super excited about.
That is awesome.
Yes.
So, you know what, the group that I'm having for Rise Up Women group, did you have a group like that, or for people who are actually doing your program, or you don't have any? People just go there, or do you do this all digitally because I'm asking is because you are doing in Grand Junction, Colorado, but now everything's done digitally. Are you expanding, or how are you doing that?
Well, that's something that I've been taking a class on, and I've been using this time for expansion. And that is something that I've been giving a lot of thought to. The plan is not there yet, but yes, it is. One thing that I am working on is expanding the Heart of Rahab program and taking it digitally, so that we can help more women, not just here in Mesa County, but throughout the world. I will know more after this weekend. I'm going into a 3-day very intensive training, all online. I'm going into my own lockdown without children. Once I come out of that training, I am really hoping to have a better vision of where God wants me to continue to take this, because it's not just here in Mesa County that people need it. It is all over. It's
Yes.
not just in the state of Colorado, it is all over. I grew up in the South. I lived in poverty. I see poverty there. I mean, all the time. I just went back a couple years ago and my heart just kind of sank because I felt it all around me. And God does not want his children to live struggling, live in poverty. There will always be poor among us. There always will be. But that's not how God intends for us to live.
Amen. Amen. That's great. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer, for taking the time and speaking
Yes.
with me and, being on this podcast.
Well, thank you so much, Miki. I so appreciate you letting me come on and talk to you and have this time with you. Oh gosh, my heart just, it sings
Yeah.
for you because I'm so blessed to know you
Oh,
and to
thank
have
you.
this time to get to know you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much for sharing what you're doing and your vision. I'm so super excited. I was like having goosebumps. Yeah, thank you so much and have a good rest of Sunday.
Yes, I will. Thank you. You as well.
Okay,
All right.
bye.
Bye.